Well, thanks to everyone for all the wonderful insights for all the sessions. With that, we come to the concluding. Chaudhary has more than 43 years of experience in the E&P industry. He has done his BTech in mechanical engineering and specialized in petroleum engineering from Indian School of Mines, Dhanbad, and University of Southern California in USA. As a reservoir engineer, his focus area is EOR and was associated with the rollout of the first thermal EOR project in India. We welcome you, sir. I would also like to introduce Dr. Anand Gupta, who would be presenting the concluding remarks. Dr. Anand Gupta is currently holding the post of Additional Director General Development in Directorate General of Hydrocarbons under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. He holds Bachelor of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering from IIT Roorkee, MTech in Petroleum Engineering from ISM Dhanbad, and MBA in Finance from Indira Gandhi National Open University. He also holds doctorate in petroleum engineering from PDU, Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University, Gandhinagar. Dr. Anand Gupta is an accomplished petroleum engineer with over 33 years of experience in production operations, R&D, and corporate in ONGC. Thank you so much for being a part of this session, sir. And I would also like to introduce Mr. Ujjal Ghosh, who is going to be the moderator of the session, and he's also going to present the vote of thanks. Ujjal Ghosh is the Geology Advisor and Head, GNG, Directorate General of Hydrocarbons, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India. He is an experienced E&P professional in the field of geology and geophysics, and he has spent 3 decades in the subsurface business of upstream industry, having worked in premier Indian public and private sector companies, international business entities, and government establishments, with roles ranging from reservoir modeling to field development planning, uncertainty analysis, and reserve auditing. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this session. May I now hand over the floor to Mr. Ujjal Singh to commence the proceedings. Sir, you're on mute.
Sorry, Anand. Thank you, Chandrima. And just to start with, before I invite Mr. Samarendra Roychaudhury, just I will add that he is a member committee of a government constituted committee of enhanced recovery of oil and gas. He is an active member for the last 2 years. This is an important thing, and it is his own professions, to be specific. So I invite Mr. Roychaudhury to take your call on this, summarizing the entire event, and I will come back again. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta, and good evening, everybody. It has been a long day, so I'll be very, very short because the moderators earlier had really made my job very, very simple. First of all, I would like to thank Team DGH for having organized this particular workshop, because this is a very, very important workshop. And in the morning, all of us, we heard what DG and ADG has outlined. The reason, because there has to be some standard in the university, in the industry, and particularly for those small players who are now entering, they would like to adapt a system, standardize the system, because that will go in a long way when they go for their finance to raise their capital or to go to the stock market. So I think this is the most appropriate time. And since morning, we first heard, the operators, how they have revived the system, the changes between 2007 and 2018, how they have adopted, what sort of some of the technologies they have utilized to upgrade the reserves from contingent upwards. And a very interesting thing happened after lunch, where the technology providers gave an insight about how they feel should be the reserve should be booked, and what other things are required. Now, if you really go through all the presentation by the presenters, one of the key thing that came to my mind, and we started in the morning with Mr. Mahapatra when he was, giving an outline over the years about the PRMS system, that integration of data, it plays a very, very key role. And in order to generate the data, and when I talk about data, I don't mean any data, it is the useful and the meaningful data. And there where technology comes to the forefront. We have seen presenters giving an overview about Rava project, that how technology has helped to identify some of the pools nearby, and more than 50% has been recovered. Similarly, there have been several fields in ONGC where technology, right from seismic onwards, has helped to upgrade the volume. Uh, my favorite subject, EOR, yes, how different fields in both ONGC, Oil India, EOR has boosted up the resources, the reserves. And I have maybe a couple of points there to make, that how this needs to be incorporated in while going forward in the PRMS system. Now, most of these presenters in the afternoon, when they were making a point, one of the key issues that came to my mind, which they were highlighting, is about the economic returns. And when I talk about economic returns, or when I talk about the economics of a project, the hurdle rate depends from company to company. What is the risk appetite a company can take initially for the 5, 6 years? In one of the presentations, and I think the question and answers also, they said after infusing some capital in the first 2, 3 years, you find 4 to 5 years, maybe the time when you start getting a net positive cash flow. So whether you are in a position to invest and wait for 5 years, 6 years, and in a life cycle of a project, when you imbibe your, it becomes quite imperative that what are the key risk factors you're looking towards this project, at what point of time you feel that EOR should be applied, what sort of technology is required, and what sort of groundwork is required. It's very, very important. So if you're looking at a life cycle of maybe 25 years of a field, and if you feel after the discovery you have adequate data, and within the next 5 years you need to go and boost up your reserves, because if you can increase your recovery factor by more than 10 or 15% over the conventional, you get a huge boost, and particularly some of the onshore fields which some of the presenters have highlighted. So keeping the oil in place same, what is the endeavor required to improve the recovery factor? And that to me will play a very key and dominant role in most of the onshore and offshore fields that we have in India currently, be it in the Cambay Basin, be it in the Assam, or some in the offshore, because almost all the fields are in the advanced stages of brownfield development. So here I think what we need to prod on, and particularly in the afternoon, all the experts who spoke, that if you have to factor such sort of a high cost, I would say, EOR at early stage of a field, the national oil companies. So perhaps this will give a very big boost to the people working in DGH to really guide many of the operators, that if you are if you want to improve the recovery factor, any sort of technology if you like to bring, this is the time what you should be implementing it before it is too late, before you really get to the results. And these are maybe the technology firms which will be able to give you. So the operators at the very infant of their project, when they start, they'll be able to infuse that sort of a technology, what's sort of fund to be kept. So this is one area I think which needs further elaboration when we talk about enhancing the reserves. Uh, Another important thing, if you have seen since morning, everybody when they were talking, about how technology has helped over the years in streamlining the process, it is not only the technology or the technology providers, it's also the end users. The way the people in the morning, the operators, the way they have educated themselves to imbibe the technology and use the technology to their, own benefits, that has really demonstrated, because there are a lot of technologies maybe floating around. But the most important thing is that, do we have a niche group of people who understands the technology, apply the technology, and get the benefits? And that has been a hallmark in the morning presentation when I was listening to my friends from ONGC or Oil India or KN, Vedanta, others, that yes, each of these company, whichever technology they have adopted, they have really mastered that, and that's a wonderful, situation to begin with. Well, I think, since we are coming to the end, I would leave it to both my friend Mr. Ujjal Ghosh and Dr. Anand Gupta, and these are some of the thought process which I had in my mind, and I don't want to repeat what the presenters and the moderators have summed up. And I thank DGH once again for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward to engage continuously with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Roychaudhury, for an excellent sum up for the day's proceeding. And you have rightly touched upon the key issues of the project is not the project; it has to be economical at the long term. So this is the importance of the data sets. Also, you have touched upon. It's a whole story about the whole industry and the industry, and particularly in Indian scenario where there are exploration assets as well as in the developing assets. So, and we have many FDPs which are also passing through many stages of implementation, and this PRMS will definitely be a guiding tool for us. Now I will call Dr. Anand Gupta, who is also is the ADG development over here at DGH, and interested for the key aspect like the assurance of the producing fields. There are many producing fields of contractors as well as the NOCs, and he is the guy who is entrusted to look for that technical assurance as well as the performance assurance. Over to Mr. Dr. Anand Gupta. Please initiate.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. Thank you for this opportunity. As we all say that all good things come to an end. So this workshop, which was organized at a very appropriate moment, also is coming to an end. But then this end is a beginning in itself actually. Why it is a beginning actually? Because few days back only, DGH along with the ADG Exploration has already issued a communication that as on 1st of April 2021, we would like that all the operators conform to the PRMS actually. So this is leading to a new beginning, and we expect that it will be complied with. So first of all, thank you to Dr. Reddy and his team, along with Mr. Jha, HOD Reservoir, and the whole team who has organized this one-day workshop on PRMS. And I think it was very appropriate that we had operators, we had academics, and we also had the consultants, independent consultants, all were there. So bringing all them together on this platform was a very unique kind of experience, and a very rich experience was shared over there. I could listen to some of that, but definitely it has been very useful. So as I said that we say that our country has got almost 42 BTOE, which kind of from Mr. Ujjal Ghosh and everybody tells. So I think if we get this kind of data, and a few days back itself I was discussing with the team that if we have got this much, where is it that development has not taken place? So as a part of development, we need to work out that where are the contingent resources and reserves available there which we need to develop. So once this kind of information is available, we will be able to provide, and then you work along with the teams so as to move forward on this direction. All of you may be aware that on the 9th of February, we had a meeting with the operators, which was chaired by Secretary Petroleum, and we have been mandated to work that how to improve the production in next 3 to 4 years. So 2025, the work is going on. And this exercise, what we are trying to do is an operator-led exercise where all of you have contributed what are your vision for 2024-25, and then how we are able to achieve that. Because if those kind of inputs have come, which to my knowledge, and I've been told first time we are trying to do that kind of exercise, because earlier, except for some major operators, that kind of input was not available. But here are almost, I think, as I am now seeing that there are almost 30 operators which are contributing towards this exercise, and which also have got some of the small operators that all of you may be aware that almost 54 contract areas, 100 small fields also we have awarded. So they have also contributed that what are their plans, and this exercise, once the integrated exercise is available, will be, I think, useful document whereby we can definitely see that how the operators are going to contribute and what are the benchmarking parameters. So we are trying to see that what kind of KPIs can be developed. So those will be the parameters, and one such parameters can be in this direction also, that how the operators are working on the PRMS. So that will be kind of very useful thing. And as DG actually very elaborately mentioned in the morning, that this is one such area where we are moving. Apart from that, all other areas also we are trying to see. And as part of the facilitation process, which Dr. Reddy also mentioned in his initial address, that we are part of the facilitation support to the industry. That how we can work together, because finally industry survival is our survival actually. So that way we can try to work. And then this case studies which were presented, I think was very useful, and I could see some of the addresses which were given by the Vedanta and other operators, including Antelopus and Roychaudhury team also presented. So I think some of these was very good, and we hope that in the next few weeks, few months, we will have some more this kind of interaction. We also had one on EOR, which also was aptly summed by Mr. Roychaudhury, which was organized with the PP. We are also shortly working on a development-led agenda, that how some of the operators have revived some of the fields which were going to be abandoned, and then some of the technologies which are fit for purpose technologies, because I very much feel, being a production engineer, that it's important that right technologies at the right places are identified, because one technology may not be useful for everybody, some of these small operators who are coming up. So we are trying to organize one such interactive agenda workshop. We look forward for interaction with all of you. I also feel that given the kind of thrust which is being given on the exploration, and DG keeps on telling every time that we should not monitor the production, we should monitor more on exploration, because I also believe that today's exploration is actually tomorrow's production. So that is also very important, and with this kind of resource information and the data available, I think it will be very important that we are able to move towards our direction of achieving the goals of exploration and production in the country. I think it's very good that this live interaction is taking place, and for the last few weeks we have been able to interact more, maybe on the virtual platform itself. Hope the situation improves. I don't know what is going to happen. So once we meet physically, I think it will be more exchange of some good ideas. And just to share with all of you that few days back, we also had one interaction whereby now we are trying that the operators can use the platform which is available in the DGH, and some of the resources and facilities which are available in the DGH will be available to the operators. That also will be a part of the facilitation process. And we are having definitive moves towards that direction also. Secretary Sir is also very keen on that direction, that we provide that kind of handholding. And as Mr. Ujjal Ghosh has said, and Mr. Roychaudhury in his aptly summed up remarks had also said, that that kind of handholding will be available, and the kind of resources which is available with the senior persons, one of whom I am able to see virtually in front of the screen, Mr. Roychaudhury, the kind of experience which they are having. I think it will be very important that the industry shares that kind of rich experience. So I think it has been a very useful experience, and we hope, and as I said, that a new beginning will be there from the 1st of April 2021. I request all the operators to take care of the communication which has been issued by ADG Exploration along with the DG, and then this information will then be very useful. So once again, on my own behalf, on behalf of the whole team DGH, thank you very much for providing me this opportunity. Once again, congratulations to the team led by ADG Exploration, Dr. Reddy, Mr. Jha and his whole team. I understand for the last few weeks, they work continuously. In fact, till yesterday evening, when I was also in the office for some work, actually, I saw Dr. Reddy was working with his team. And he tried and ensured that a good delivery is made in terms of this good interaction. So thank you very much. Thank you, Ghosh sir, for conducting this session, and thank you, Roychaudhury sir, for aptly summarizing this. Hope that let's meet someday, sometime, at least physically. Now we are getting vaccinated, so hope the situation will be improved. So thank you very much. All the very best.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta. Thank you. Surely we'll drop into your office. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Ghosh.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta, to summarize and conclude the overall activities for the sessions, and as well as you have touched one important aspect, how PRMS is significant and relevant for our forward strategy we are undertaking. So with this, I think I wanted to say a few words acknowledging the contributions and participations by various members from across the world. And this is not complete unless and until the people around it, around this event, are truly acknowledged. So starting from because the whole session is split into the three sections. If you see the prospective, contingent, and results, and after that there is an expert sessions. In all the sessions, and there are speakers from various organizations. I just wanted to wish to acknowledge their names. Is the Ken Vedanta was there, BPRL is there, Antelopus. There are many sessions which is participated by the company called Antelopus, and then All India and ONGC from the NOC end, and also there is the sessions by the Reliance. And apart from these speakers, there are external people who have joined and really enriched the whole experience of the event in our just previous sessions. Various people from the auditing firms, and that is also from DNM, Bayface, as well as the ERC, and also this our Gaffney client from Singapore. So their deliberation really truly conclude the entire gamuts of the what is PRMS known to us. And if you see, coming to the organizing the event, is the most important fact is that DGH is in a process of introducing this PRMS concept. So as just 3 months back, it is 8th of Jan, we have introduced just to acknowledge the significant discoveries one of our presenters has emphasized. So their discovery has to be significant and there has to be a commercial value. And that notice we have introduced all the ENP operators, we have issued that notice so that they should start announcing those discovery which is commercially viable, and we can review and we can go ahead their maturation stage. This is one significant step we have made, and after that, there's this PRMS adoption in the PRMS, and they should all the operators should abide by this scheme, which is just 10th of March. 10th of March we have introduced, and within less than 2 weeks, our organization team has made it possible that it can be possible just to kickstart the whole. It is not a one event; it is going to be serial events, and we are open to your comments, suggestions, as well as your useful analysis of the facts, and so that we can come back with various such events. And once again, I will thank you one and all for participating in these events. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. We've come to the end of the workshop, so thanks to all the participants and all the panelists. So we'll see you again soon.